And while the crime emergency in the district is set to expire tomorrow, there is no end in sight to the surge in federal law enforcement officers and the deployment of National Guard on D.C. streets. But the federal surge is not the only federal intervention facing D.C. residents. Congress is considering more than a dozen bills that take direct aim at D.C. and home rule. News 4's Mark Segraves is here now to break it down. Mark, we know that thousands of people hit D.C. streets over the weekend to protest this federal surge. As you're watching what's happening now on Capitol Hill, which you brought in a whole stack of
got homework for you.
bills here, what else should D.C. residents be concerned about?
Yeah, take a look. Here they are. These are the 13 bills that will be marked up tomorrow when the House Oversight Committee meets. These bills address everything from taking away D.C. residents' right to elect their own attorney general to giving police more discretion when it comes to car chases, making it illegal to camp in public places. That's a bill clearly aimed at criminalizing homelessness, and creating a federal program within the Department of Interior charged with beautifying D.C.
I mean, so they're all of concern, especially if you live in D.C., but are there a few of the 13 that are of particular concern?
Yeah, there are. Each of these 13 bills, if they pass, would have significant impacts on D.C. residents, businesses, and visitors. But several of them, if they're passed, would directly impact home rule. The biggest is the Attorney General Appointment Reform Act. If that's passed by the House and Senate, it would immediately fire the current elected Attorney General of D.C., Brian Schwab, and give the President of the United States the power to appoint D.C.'s Attorney General. Another bill that would give the President more power and authority over D.C. would terminate the Judicial Nominating Committee that's charged with providing the President a list of potential judges from which to nominate. This would allow the President to nominate whoever he wants as judges. Two other bills take aim at how D.C. handles juveniles in the criminal justice system, including lowering the age of juvenile can be tried as an adult from 16 years old to 14 years old.
So if I'm sitting at home listening right now, I'm thinking to myself, we've got a Republican-controlled Senate and House and the White House. What is the likelihood that these bills could actually pass?
Yeah, so it's very likely that they'll almost certainly pass the Republican-controlled House. But in the Senate, where Republicans have a slimmer margin, it would take 7 Democrats to join with Republicans to break a filibuster. So it's a much tougher threshold to get to. Now, a few years ago, that would seem unlikely. But these days, D.C. can't rely on congressional Democrats like they used to. Even before Trump took office for his second term, President Biden, a Democrat obviously, and congressional Democrats joined Republicans to overturn D.C.'s crime bill a few years ago. So D.C. leaders and residents need to be concerned.
This is a lot here, a lot to look through, and I know these bills aren't the only threat to D.C.
Yeah. So there is the budget coming up as well, as you point out. The district is going to transmit its 2026 budget to Congress for their oversight, and at that point, as we've seen in the past, Congress can add riders to that bill before they send it back to D.C. They could put anything they want on that bill. Now, D.C. got some good news between the 5 o'clock newscast and the 6 o'clock newscast.
Share it.
Thanks to our friends at Punchbowl, they're reporting that the White House has transmitted to Congress some of their what they call anomalies that they would want if they get to a continuing resolution at the end of the month. Now, you remember the last continuing resolution almost cost D.C. $1 billion in spending capabilities. In the what's being reported by Punchbowl, the White House has sent down to Congress a list of things, and included in it is restoring D.C.'s funding ability and ability to spend its own local funds should a CR be passed. That is very good news for D.C. because had that same language in the previous CR made it to the next CR, it could cost D.C. again more than $100 billion in a year that they could not afford to do that. So it would have been absolutely devastating to D.C. So there's some good news. We were looking for some good news in the 5 o'clock hour. We have some good news for D.C. residents in the 6 o'clock hour.
Okay, that's definitely good to hear. And of course, I mean, you guys see Mark's bringing us the breaking news as we get it, so we know you will continue to keep us updated.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you, Mark.